Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're gonna work on React, use state. We're gonna follow the plan. We're gonna do some exercises. We'll see how far we come. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, we'll see. In this example, the count state variable holds a number. By clicking the button, it increments it. Okay, why is that? Well, you set the count set count with use state starting at 0, and on click you will set the count plus 1. But there's something wrong with this code because we don't have a prefixes code. This works only for 1, but as soon as we are going to do set count plus 1, it's still gonna do 1. So what we should do is get a value in, and we're gonna say prefixes set count prefixes. I'm not sure if this is possible. Prefixes was 1. And we're gonna do the same for the other one. And then it's gonna update 2. Okay, makes sense. Next one. In this example, the text state variable holds a string, okay, which is hello. When you type handler change reads the latest input from the browser input dot element and calls setText to update the state. This allows you to display the current text below. So destructured array red and default state of hello. When we handle the change, and the change is the value of text, okay, then it's gonna change, and reset is gonna set the text to hello, which should actually be another type of value. So we should say const let's think about it. Const reset is hello, and then we should say reset here, and we should also say reset here. I think that is a cleaner way of doing stuff and works. So okay. Now why are you doing this? Well, the reason why you should do this and not just with a string, well, you can do a string, right? This is not TypeScript, so I cannot say like, hey, this and that, but basically you want to do this because if you're gonna hard code text into default states, weird things can happen where your code gets more complex. I don't know how to give you an example, but maybe after when you're coding, you probably will encounter this when you're using React. Okay, so next, function handler change with a argument, and the argument is the value unchanged. You typed text, button on click set text hello. Okay, next one. Checkbox boolean. In this example, the liked variable state holds a boolean. When you check the input, set like updates the like state variable whether the browser input is checked. The liked variable is used to render the text below the income. So let's see what happens. When you checked, it's gonna be liked. When you unchecked, it's gonna be like this. So you then need a condition to say if it is the state of like, then you like this. Else, um, it's gonna be false, right? So because it's true in the first point, and then you can render you don't like this. Yeah. Okay. So let's go more deeper. The structured array like set like and the value is true. So it starts with true. This means that it is checked at first point. Okay. Then we're gonna handle the change. I'm just gonna say eTarget checked. So this basically means that if you have a checked attribute which is now liked, you're gonna set, which is true, you're gonna set that to false. That's basically what you're doing. Next one. You can declare more than one state variable in the same component. Each state variable is completely independent. Okay. The structures with we don't like the hard code stuff. Should never do that. Const const um, const namer is Taylor. Then we should do this to namer. I'm just giving stuff. Okay, and then okay, we still have Taylor and still change tamer. That's good. And set age starts with 42. Okay, so what is it doing here? It's actually doing an inline function, but let's not do that. Let's make a function. So function name change, and we're just gonna hold parameter, and a parameter you want to say set name is eTarget value, so you can remove this and you can say name change. Let's see if that works. Okay, not yet. Why not? Are we actually changing the name here? That's the question. Yes. Do we need to invoke? No. It still works. Okay, what did this say? Expected unchanged listener to be a function, instead got a string value. I'm not sure why it complains like that. Maybe. Oh, maybe because I should do this. Very interesting. Let's check the previous. I'm not doing anything wrong. But I think the problem is because we are giving do we I think the problem was, let's do a function and name change. and we're gonna say that the name change is going to be this. Okay, and that's gonna be name change. That should not give an error, to be honest. Why? Consider adding a boundary, but it still works, doesn't it? Oh, it doesn't. E is not defined. Oh, of course. But it still works. Okay, whatever. We're gonna do the same for function age change, which doesn't hold a value, and it's gonna be set age to 1. I'm actually gonna add a value. It's gonna be proficious and proficious age plus 1, and then you're gonna say here age change. See how it works. Okay, and this also works. Okay, let's also make a reset. So function reset name. Yeah, was going to be set name with the original value of Taylor. Let's make a button. So button, and this button is going to be on click. It's gonna have a reset name. Okay, and it's gonna say reset. Works. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. So what do you think about this code? Small issues, function mistake. Actually need to be a callback. Of course. Okay. Tiny naming nitpick. Your function name change should be labeled like handle. Okay. Overall it's clean. Sure. Show me a cleaner version. Okay. Okay, fine. Fine by me. It's not a big issue. Next. So this doesn't work because you need a proficiency state. Okay. Is using update or preferred? Yes. It's not necessary, but always do that. Okay. Passing the updater function. This example passes the updating function. Does the 3 button works? Yes. Because you're invoking the increment. Sure. Next. Passing the next state directly. Doesn't work. Yeah. Awesome. Updating objects and arrays in state. You can put objects and array into state. In React, state is considered read-only, so you should replace it rather than mutate the existing objects. For example, if you form a state, don't mutate it. Instead, replace the whole object by creating a new one. Okay, so I'm gonna ask why the rest parameter. So I'm gonna ask here. Why the rest parameter? Spread operator, whatever. Rest spread is when you copy. Rest is when you gather properties into an object in a function argument. Spread is when you copy all properties in a new object. Okay, this is really hard to understand for me. In your case, using the spread to copy the existing properties into a new object, then you override the one field you want to update. So everything that you had, you want to update it after. Why is this necessary? Because when you call setForm, you're replacing the entire form object. React does actually merge updates into a state when it's an object. So you have to manually copy the existing field and update just the one you want. Okay. That's why. If you didn't spread, you would lose the other properties. Example, without spread. This would erase last name and email, and you will only have first name left. Ah, I see. So if you have, so when is spread convenient? Only when you have more than one value in an object. Single value, multiple value, yes. Array if you want to copy, resetting. Okay, so no need, yes, no need. If you have multiple ones, need. Okay. When you have an array, yes. Okay. It's clear for me. Okay, but there's a cleaner way to write this, right? There should be. You're not gonna change. There must be a cleaner way to write this. So. Write the set form into a function so it will be cleaner. Let me see. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna say field is value, and then I can say field and value. Previous form. Oh, this is a bit hard to understand. Okay, previous form. Fire function. you're gonna say copy all the existing ones and set a field and set a value. And then you can say Hana input change first name and then eTarget value. And this one are hard coded. Okay, because it's the forms. You can make it even fancier by setting the name by setting a name property. You can either make an input name is first name, value is first name, and then you can say handle change. But where's the name coming from? So where is the name property coming from? Is this a set attribute in input? Okay, yeah, sure. And then you set it to a name. Sure. Okay, that is not too hard. Makes total sense. Okay. Nest objects. Okay. So when it nested objects, it becomes more redundant, right? So we have to think about it for a second. How are we gonna code this such that we don't have to have all this stuff into one function? I think we can do that. So let's do that. We're gonna say function handle change, and we're gonna set a value of name, and we're gonna say value. Okay, and then we're gonna open up, and then we're gonna say set person. Okay, and we need to spread what we have. Okay, and are we gonna change at any point the person? Yeah, we're gonna set the person change at any point. So we can say name, and then we can say value. Then we're gonna open up artwork, and we're gonna say person dot artwork person dot artwork, and we're gonna say is it an image? Okay, there are different kinds of properties. So we need an condition. So we can say name. Now we're using name double. Name dot value. So let's try that. We can say name. This time name would be a string. Let's see how they do this. Oh, this is destructured. I should destructure this. Sorry about that. Okay. And how did they do this? They just give like first name. Okay. Okay, I understand. You're gonna give it the key. So let's give it the key. The key is name. Okay, and on the second one, the name is going to be because it's artwork.title, maybe? Let's see if it works. Artwork.title? No. Let's do title. Yeah, title is not defined. Yeah. Let's see. Artwork.title. Yeah, it should be like that. Oh, is it oh, it's just a string? Yeah. Okay, so this is just say name. And this should say artwork title. Okay. And then here should say name. And say artwork.city. And here it should say name is artwork.image. Okay. Receive true for a non-boolean attribute name. Oh, okay. Obviously, I need to handle change both of them. And if I'm gonna do the handle change, yeah, okay. Handle change. Handle change. Okay. We still have handle change name. It's not gonna work because I have an error, and I know where the error is coming from. Probably because I'm saying spread operator person.artwork, and I think again the name and the value. But I think I should add a condition here. But let's see what the ChatGPT thinks about this. Okay. Really close. There's a small problem with the hand change function right now. So in both person and person artwork back in the attribute, but so I think it won't match the simple property names like name and artwork. The real issue, the name field like artwork tab, but Hamilton doesn't understand that it needs to go to the artwork object. Split the name on a dot. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Const keys is split with the dot. If keys is a length of 1, so top level field like name, then you set the previous function a name and value. Else, you're gonna say keys 0, keys 1. I see. Instead of that, is there a cleaner way? Probably. Interesting. Okay, you said two functions, where this is the normal function, if it's just the level, and if it's the second level, you're just gonna copy, and then you're gonna set eTarget name is eTarget value. But did it change significantly though? No, it did not. Okay, so this is a cleaner way. I'm gonna ask why eTarget name and why does not. Oh yeah, I get why. eTarget name is eTarget value. Okay. Um, I think this will work. Great. Um, Instead of that, could you use name value in the functions? I think that will be better. Name that value. Mm, no, not again. No, still no. Also with two functions you mentioned. Think that should be possible. Um, I think this is possible. No, this is not my style. Mm, why should you do that? Okay, so instead of this, you should use the eTarget value then. I see. I see now why. So if you use this, you can just say handle work change with the name, and then the eTarget name is the eTarget value. Okay, sure. That was nested. List array. Okay, arrays of objects. I'm not sure where this is coming from, to be honest. Okay, so when you click on edit, it becomes a interesting. Okay, but I don't know how to do that, to be honest. So this is a little bit too hard for me. I don't know what Immer is. Oh, that's when you okay. So there's a solution to this, but this defeats the state. Like if you really like mutating, then you should do this. Okay. Okay. Array of objects. And they have two stuff. So this is like a medium example, and okay. Avoiding recreating the initial state. React saves the initial state once and ignores it on the React render. Although the result is only used one function, are you still calling the function and this can be wasteful? Yes, obviously. Which is the function itself and not the invoke. Okay, empty array. For let the initial push, you're gonna be array and you're gonna set a text plus an I plus 1. Okay, what you're gonna do, what is the ID, which the ID is 1, and you're gonna add 1 to it. Okay, I have no idea why you would do that. Okay, button on click, set the text to 0. Set todos, the ID is todos length. No idea why you would have the todos length. You set text to text. It's because here's the text. How does it know the length? Todos.length. Let me see. Oh, okay. It checks the length of the array of the initial state, and then it adds 1 to it, and then you copy everything else. Why would you do that? Well, I want you to do the reverse. Let's see what happens when you do the reverse. So let me see. I'm gonna say this one and then comma. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm gonna set item. There's no item. Okay, but if I set it in another way, and I'm gonna say item, it's gonna add. Yes, but it's gonna add before item 52. But that doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't. It adds it before, and that defeats the purpose. Yes, but you want. Okay. Okay. And I want to say item 544. Okay, yeah. You want to add it on the list. Why do you want to? That's what I mean. Okay. I would never do this way. What I would do is I would create a I want to see how you create it. Okay. Yeah. Array from. Mm, you want to return the array 50 dot map. You want to say I, and then you say item. Right? Okay. Now I see why the other one is simpler. Okay. Makes sense. Passing the initial state directly. This example does not pass the initialize function, so the create initial to-dos function runs every render, such as when you type the input. There is no observable difference in behavior, but this code is less efficient. Okay, let's see what is the difference then. Oh, that's because you're invoking. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend invoking, to be honest. Because you're re-rendering it every time. Yeah, okay. Resetting with a key. You will often encounter the key attribute when re-rendering this. However, it serves another purpose. You can reset a component state by passing a different key to a component. In this example, the reset button changes the version states variable, which we pass a key to the form. When a key changes, React recreates the form component and offers children from scratch, so the state gets reset. Okay, so let's see. So we have an initial value of 0, and when we handle reset, we just set version.1. I would never do this. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me just say set version to 0. Why would you do this? Unclick and no reset. Form key is version. Why would you ever do that? Function? What's going on here? Function defaulted app. Okay, this is another function. Reduce state, value change. Okay. Usually, you will update the state in event handlers. However, in rare cases, you might want to adjust state response to rendering. For example, you might want to change the state variable when a prop changes. In most cases, you don't need this. If the value you need can be computed entirely from current props or another state, remove that redundant state altogether. It's a lot of reading. Okay, there's not a lot anymore. This is the last part. Um, let's do like a little break because it was a lot of reading. Ah, damn it. Alright, say you want to show whether the count has increased and decreased in the last change. The count prop doesn't tell you this. You need to keep track of a previous value. Add a pref count state variable to track it. Add another state called a trend to hold whether the count is decreased or decreased. Compare the previous count with count. If they're not equal, update both previous count and trend. Now you can show both. Okay. Now you can show both. So you have a count destructured, and you're gonna say to count. In the other one, you're gonna set it to null. If the previous count is not equal, if the values are not the same, then you wanna set previous count to count. Why would you ever do this? If it's not the same, you will set it to count, but initially it is already the same. Okay, set trend. If count is bigger than previous count, let me see. If count is previous than a bigger count. Okay, yeah, so you increase something. It says increasing, else you say decreasing. Okay, so let's go to count. And if the trend is true, which is a short circuit, the count is trend, which will be decreasing or increasing. Let's see the count label. And then you say count set count. But these are not the same counts, right? Let me see. No, these are not the same count. That's a bit annoying because you will think that this count will be this count here, but it's not the same. This is just a normal count function, the cloud way of setting a counter. And count is count. Yeah, count is count. Come on, guys. Right? What do you mean? I'm wondering if these are the same counts even. I don't think so. I think this is just a prop, an empty prop to use here. And then use this count. So I'm gonna ask that if they are the same. So let's see. Are count and count in the use state the same? They're not the same. No. Wouldn't that be confusing? Wouldn't that be confusing with naming convention? Yeah, you would say current count. Yeah, okay. It's bad practice. Yeah, that's a bit weird, right? Because you're using the push in the other stuff. Okay, that was pretty hard. And how long is this space? This space is also very long. Connecting a chat server. Come on now, guys. Yeah. Like you want to start with a very hard. And it's using a ref. Connecting an external system. These are very hard examples. This is actually up to date. I must say that use effect was unnecessary hard. Yeah, that was unnecessary hard. So what we're gonna do, um, let me see. Okay, we're gonna create a new chat, and this chat is gonna say create beginner use effect challenges as a React Junior interview. Okay, so these things are things I really need to know. Um, yeah, of course, fetching. This is the most use case in the use effect. And just plain JavaScript code, right? So, we only update if the search term has a dependency, right? Okay. Okay, those are pretty hard. So let's go to our value. Let's go to React. Okay, so these ones are actually what we need to do. Okay. I think we can do a to-do list. Don't think that is an issue now. We're gonna do it in a couple of minutes, to be honest. Let me change the music first. Um, awesome. Now, because we did that, we're gonna try to make a to-do list in React. Just with adding, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do deleting. We just add it to the list. That is the most important part. Um, let's see if we can get a React environment somewhere. Um, maybe Replit has one. Live JavaScript. I'm not sure if it exists. remix this up. This is okay. Um, React playground. Let's do that. React playground. Okay. This is the web view then. Okay. So let's do that then. So we want to create a to do. So the first thing what we need to do is we add a button, and it's gonna say add. Okay. And we're gonna have some text. So this is gonna let's an input actually. And the input is gonna have a name and the name. Let's do placeholder. I don't think it's gonna have a name. Placeholder is gonna do add a to do. And in the input, we also gonna set a value. I'm not sure what the value is gonna be now yet. Maybe the value is gonna be like a to do or something. And we also gonna add an onChange value. So an onChange, we wanna set a handle to do. To do. Okay. And we're gonna then close that one. Great. Now this is not gonna work now because we don't have onChange and on to do. So I'm gonna copy that out for a second. And actually let me do it like this and like that. Do we have anything that I want? Basically. Okay. So let's put these ones here. First, we're gonna make a use state. What does it say? Oh, okay, save my code. We're gonna create a use state. And this is const to do. And we're gonna do set to do. It's gonna be equal to an empty string. We're gonna make a function, and this function is gonna be add to do. Okay. So we want to check if the to do is empty. So if to do is equal to empty, we just want to return. Because if there's nothing, we don't want to add a something. Now we want to set to do. And I have to think about how we're gonna invoke that function. First, let's see. Actually, let's do it like this. We're gonna set a parameter, like a fiery function, and we are going to say e target value. So basically, in React, we're gonna target the value what we're gonna give. So the value is gonna be the to do. And we're gonna say a paragraph. No, the value is gonna be inside, and we're gonna then on change. We're gonna do the handle to do. I think that is how we do it. Add to do. Let me see what the error here is. Um, there's an input value error. Placeholder, add to do, value to do, unchange, add to do. Okay, so if to do is empty, you return. Set to do to the target of value, and the target is to do. So if I type in a placeholder, it should add to do, but I have an issue. Log into console, world. Um, so let's see. I'm not sure. I have to check the, let me see, MD and docs about the input. Let's see. IB name. We can also add a name, to be honest, but we have a value already. Yeah, we have a value attribute. Okay, I think that should be my answer. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But we do want to do something else. We want to structure that, and we want to say having the to-dos first, and then fire the function. But that wouldn't make any sense because we're firing function after the to-do. So then we should set it before we do that. Okay, this is a syntax issue, so I have to think about it for a second. Uh, okay, let's forget about the to-dos for a second then, the structuring. Okay, what does it say? Expected end of title before the input tag. Input. When terminated regular expression. Okay, yeah, it is self-closing. So what is the issue then? It gives me an issue. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So let me see. Set to do is not a function. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So import use state. Okay. Const. Uh, see, we will do that. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna say is use state, something like that. Okay, I cannot type. Maybe it's because of this. Give me a second. No, that is not. Okay. What's up? We're trying to do make a simple to-do list. That is what's up. How are you? Edit to do, value is to do. You target value. So we cannot type. Why can we not type? Okay, so what if we delete this? Do we get an error? Oh yeah, of course. Why am I so dumb? We have to set something where we're gonna map it, of course. So we're gonna say to do dot map t. Yeah, let's do that. And then what we're gonna do is just add a paragraph with t. Okay, and I'm also gonna do ID is I. Okay, we have an error. What is the error? Unexpected token. Let me see. Oh yeah, we don't need this token. So to do the map, we do need an extra parenthesis here. Let me see. Yeah, and then we are missing a parenthesis here. Is that true? I think two. Okay. Oh great, I'm doing good right now. I had a great coding session too. Yeah, we're what are you coding by the way? To do that map. Open function. So we should close the function first. And we're gonna have a parameter issue. Actually, we can close the entire thing, I think. I think we can even do this. Well, it doesn't need to be a function, right? I'm making my own notebook LLM like Google, just a prototype. Oh, that's pretty hard stuff. I know what it is because I used it before with the virtual RAM and virtual GPU to um, you could then yeah it was a very complex, how do you call it, Python stuff, um, make like changing images and that kinds of stuff. I think I have it on one of the streams even, but that's crazy. Compared to this is peanuts what I'm doing. Yeah, we can use this, but I don't see the use case of this, to be honest. I don't know what syntax is wrong here. We're opening to-do.map, we're passing in an anonymous function, and we're running out a p tag. There's nothing wrong with that. And it says, consider entering an error binary. Yeah, to-do map is not a function. So I want to see what's wrong with this, to be honest. I don't see it. What's wrong with this? I think it looks the same. Let me see if that's true. No, it's not true, what I'm saying. Okay, to do the map, t.I, p. Oh, of course. I need to set a key. Ah, dumbass. These, these mistakes, like with the key, that is actually uh, mistakes that people make that are using different kinds of programming languages. Is there any different? There's no any difference. It says it's not a function. Okay, I'm just gonna give it. I think I did my best, so gave it my shot. Field correction. You said to do. You should. Oh, of course, yeah. It should be an array because I'm running out a list. Sure. I'm sending an empty string. Let's see. Oh, okay. Cannot read undefined, reading value. Why is this undefined? Okay. This is what I did before. But then it's changing my whole code then. This is what I don't want. This is what I don't want to do. Oh yeah, and I have to do an on click obviously. A lot of mistakes. So I wasn't ready for that. Oh, okay. I see. Uh, yeah, okay. Ah, damn it, bro. Wasn't thinking. Yeah, it's kind of complex, but don't degrade yourself, bro. Yeah, you know, I'm practicing. You know, eventually I will crack it, so. Um, you know, I just hate React doing declarative way, you know? Like when JavaScript, you will have like 10 lines and you have them to do. So, okay, add to do. Okay, this was correct. And then you set the prefixes to do and add a new to do and set the empty. Yeah, sure. Name is to do, placeholder is add to do, value is to do, and on change the target value. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is change the unchanged. Okay, and then I should say on click, that will be add to do, and errors out. Okay, I cannot type. Why can I not type? Because I have a function here, and we should say set to do with the prefixes to do and to do. And why are you erroring out? There should not be an error. Damn it. Because it's in an array, obviously. It's just a syntax error. Okay. Can still not type. Why? Clear the input. This is why you should not do midnight stuff. You know, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. You're gonna get angry. You know. Okay. Input names to do. Placeholders add to do. Values to do. On change, you want to change the target value, which makes sense. Then you to do dot map, and you're gonna just add a paragraph. And on click, you add it to do. Everything should be correct according to my mind. You're doing great, yeah. But the LLM, what you're doing, that's that is different kinds of stuff. I cannot type. Why can I not type? On change, e target value. Let me say what ChatGPT is saying. Huh? I didn't copy the right code, I think. Copy. Let me see if it gives me the same error. You're using to do as an array, but you're treating it like a string when you try to handle the input. Set new. What? What the hell is this, bro? Nah, that should not. You should not do that, right? Why would you need two? You can do it with one, right? Ah, okay. I get the error though, but can you use just one use state? I think that should be possible. Damn it. Sure. Okay. Okay. I think I understand. Yeah. Well, I wasn't too far off, but I forgot that you need to store a string somewhere. So, yeah, that was very stupid of me. So let's still consider that a fail. And today is, does it say 19? Okay, 27. And let's do that tomorrow again. Wait, let's do that. Oh, sorry, I should change that. Let's do that for the 27th. So that's gonna be maybe at your place it's different, but mistake. The mistake was use state. You need two use states. One to track, one to set the array. Okay. Um. Well, the control to import and import form. I think we did that as well today, so we could definitely say that as a green. We don't need to repeat that, and yeah, sure. Let's save that. And yeah, we did a lot of things, right? So we did the whole. Um, oh, so use state doesn't exist anymore. Okay, we did the whole thing here, which was a lot, and we still got it to do wrong. It's just you see how declarative React can be um, very hard to do if you're not tracking the right stuff. Especially like I hate this part. So it says writing concise update logic with immer, and immer basically says remember when you were mutating, now you can do it. So that defeats the whole purpose of using states. And still use states. That's the worst part. But you can just directly now update it instead of using state. Defeats the whole purpose of it. I hate that. Damn it. Okay, that was pretty hard. And that's weird because I've done this for quite a while, but it seems like if you're making projects all the time, you're forgetting to do just basic stuff, right? You don't even know how to, call a nested object anymore. You have to think about it because you don't write it a lot. So yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna finish it today, but we'll try tomorrow again. Okay. Good. I think that is it for me for now. We we've been online for 1.5 hours, and we have also been doing offline practicing. So it's pretty much 3 hours for me with no stop. So yeah, see you guys later. I'll be back tomorrow doing it again and again and again and again and again and again. uh, See you later, Karma.